Hey guys, Brandon Podell here from Coder Fairy. This is the first video of multiple where we're going to go over MidJourney's new version 5.2 zoom out feature. This feature is so cool where we can zoom out indefinitely and have a gigantic chain of images. So this project may take about 6.5 hours, but if you don't add 538 different images to this project and you only have about 50 or 100, then it might only take about a half an hour to an hour. So the bulk of it is generating images using MidJourney and editing in Premiere Pro. Now, you might be able to save a significant amount of time if you have a Pro MidJourney account, which allows you to go and generate 12 concurrent jobs at the same time instead of 3, meaning that you don't have to go and wait around for hours. You can just type in all of your prompts and it'll automatically generate very quickly all of your images. And you could also save a considerable amount of time if you're familiar with all of the Adobe Premiere Pro shortcuts and if you're fast at editing. So I would think that it might take about an hour and a half instead of 3 hours if you have a MidJourney Pro subscription, where it might take about 90 minutes or so to go and do the editing if you know all of the shortcuts that are pretty fast. So the first step is going to be generating all of the images from MidJourney. So we're going to generate from MidJourney using the zoom out method. And the second step is pretty quick, where throughout the course, we're going to be using ChatGPT just a little bit to come up with a couple ideas for our MidJourney prompts. And we're going to create a couple ChatGPT scripts in Python to organize some of our files and images, where that's an optional step. We don't need to do that, but coding saves a lot of time. Step number 3, we're going to be logging into MidJourney's website, and I'm going to show you how to go and download all of the images in bulk. It just takes about a minute to download them and unzip them manually, but you have to go and wait about 10 minutes total for everything to download and everything to unzip. So this part is mostly stuff that runs in the background. Step number 4 takes about 20 minutes to go and organize all of our files and rename all of them. So we would have to create one folder for each of our image sets, and then we would have to go and rename each image in sequential order to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., which we can automate that in 10 seconds using Python and ChatGPT. Step number 5 is optional, where you can go and upscale your images using AI technology to make them a little bit more clear. This only takes about 15 minutes of running the images in the background to upscale them, which increases the resolution of all the images. And the last step, step number 6, is where we're going to be editing in Premiere Pro, and we're actually going to take all 538 images that we generated from MidJourney, and we're going to scale in or out of those images to chain them all together. So let's get started. Up first, we're going to take a look at a previous project that I worked on so we can take a look and see how the video looks when you zoom in slowly, zoom out slowly, zoom in fast, zoom out fast, as well as apply some cool effects from Premiere Pro, including my favorite, the twirl. This is how it looks like if you zoom in pretty slowly. This is how it looks like if you zoom out slowly. So this is our initial image that we're going to generate right now, but of a different subject. I have some image prompts prepared that I'm going to type into Discord to try to go and generate some really cool images. I'm going to start off here just to record my info so we can see how many images we go and generate. And what I'm going to try to do is create a massive chain of images to go and zoom in or out indefinitely. So let's see how far we can take this new technology and see how far we can zoom in or out. So here I have about 10.5 hours left. You can take a look at my settings. So I'm using MidJourney version 5.2. It just came out 2 days ago. Style, medium, and high variation mode. So let's start off by typing in the first prompt, and I'll type in the second prompt and the third one. Let's see what we get. While this is loading, let me show you how I sort of messed up generating the first set of images. Well, over here, we can go and see that all of our images line up. So if we open up one, they're all the same image. But if we go over here, I was generating 3 different sets of images using the same keywords, and they all got mixed together. So you could sort of see how these images here might be the same set, but I don't know if these images are the same set or a different set. And if we go and open them up and then go to the next one, they don't really line up 100% because they're 3 different image sets. And there's no way using the date modified or the name of the image because all the names are identical aside from this at the end. So if we do want to go and create multiple sets of images at the same time, we wouldn't want to go and use one set with these keywords and a second set with these keywords. We would have to change the first couple words So you can tell the difference between this set and this set. And if we take a look at how the images are downloaded, specifically the file names. So here's the file name. So the file name starts off with the name of your Discord account or MidJourney account, actually. And then looks like we have 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a handful of keywords. So these first 6 or 7 keywords or so, at least one word needs to be different. So that's about one of the words here would need to change. So just a little side note is that once we begin to change up the prompts using the custom zoom out button, then our file names will change based on the prompts. So using this method only works if you don't change the prompts. I'm going to explain this method in much more detail in the next video, but just so you have a heads up and know how to use it a little bit, all you have to do is just go and type in a 1 period and a space or a 2 period and a space to the beginning of each of your prompts. So if you're using a prompt that belongs to image set 1, you would type a 1 in the beginning of the prompt. If you want that image to be part of image set number 5, then you would type a 5 period and a space in the beginning of that prompt. So you could pretty much just type whatever number you want, and later on we'll go and save each of those images to their own separate folder based on the number that you typed in the front of the prompt. Up next, I'm going to begin to create a chain of images. Let's take a look at if we want to go and use any of these first images. The very first image is very important, so I'm going to let's regenerate a lot, and let's just try to get one really, really good image. I like a couple of the images already, but I want a bunch to go and check for to get the very, very best one. It looks like this one didn't go through, so let me do that again. And I'll type in a couple more. We can check info to see how many jobs that we have running at the same time. So it says that we have 7 fast jobs. So I think we can have up to 10 or 12. So I'm just going to keep on typing in this prompt. So now our queue is full. So I'll wait a little bit. Yeah, see we have 10, that's the max. And then I believe we also have 3 running jobs. So we can type in a maximum of 13 different prompts where it's processing 3 images at the same time. And these other 10 are in our queue. So I'm going to pause this for just a moment and let all of the images generate. So they finished generating. Now let's go and take a look at some of our images. We have one or two left. So it looks like this is our first one. Very cool images so far. Oh, I really like this image. I might come back to that and use it. Going for the green matrix code look here. Some okay images. Here we have a cool futuristic looking world. So this first image is the most important because every other image is going to be based off of this unless we go and give it a new prompt. So a lot of them look similar. Okay, so I'm definitely going to go back up here and pick that first one. And I'm going to check this one off. So it's this third one down here. We're done with that. The reason why is I don't want to use this image again. And what I'm going to do is instead of just generating one set of images at a time, that could be very, very time consuming. So instead, what I'm going to do is generate multiple sets of images at the same time. That way I'm not just sitting around for hours waiting for MidJourney to process one image set. I can go and work on, let's say, 2, 3, 4, even 5 or more image sets at the same time within MidJourney. And then once all of the images are finished and I download them all, I can go and create the zoom in or zoom out effects to each of those, let's say, 5 image sets. And then within Premiere Pro, I can go and merge all 5 image sets together to make a massive chain of images. So we could go and take like the world generated from this image, and then we could go and zoom in to the simulation matrix code image, and then we could zoom in even more to this alien world image set. So to start off with using this image, I'm going to first click on Upscale. So Upscale, this is 1, 2, 3, 4th image. So we click on U4. we can no longer use this keyword, futuristic space matrix code, so this image is out. Okay, so world within a world. That's kind of cool, the fourth one. I kind of like this one because the person's right in the middle, but I want to go for that green matrix code look. Let me generate some more of these, and then we'll go and pick out the next image. We could also switch it up. Chaos 100. I don't type that. Style raw. Do stylized 1000. Let's see if we can find a colorful alien universe next. I like the top left one, bottom left, the top right's pretty cool. I like the top left too. I think all of these are going to give us almost the same look. I need a black background to zoom into in the center, sort of like this guy, preferably up a little bit, but I don't know if we're going to get that unless we change around the prompt a bit, because that way we could go and zoom in to the next set of photos. I kind of want to generate a couple more. We just need to get this first image right. Okay, let's see what else we got. I love how it always starts off with the person. That's actually cool. We don't have to go with the matrix. Let's go with this image down here on the bottom right. It fits our criteria where we have something black in the center and it has our matrix code that is green. So I'm going to copy this prompt so we can check it off. And then I'll click U4 to upscale the fourth image. The second image. So now we just have the futuristic one left. And I'm going to copy this so we can get rid of all the clutter. I'll just hit Control F and then push Enter to search and find. So now we can see all of the versions that we generated using this prompt. This one, the top right, would work. This one in the top left, I like a little bit better because of the style. It's a little more bright. Let's see if we got any new ones. So these are the old ones that I did in the past. Let's go with this one down here. So I'm going to click on the prompt up here. So Discord takes me to that image. Yep. So we have the black in the background that we could zoom into. We could even zoom into this in the background. So I'll click on Upscale for U4. So now here's our upscaled image. I'm going to click on Zoom Out. And what this is going to do, it's going to zoom out 2 times. So down below, it's generating another image where it's going to add to the top, the left, the bottom, and the right of this image, and it's going to expand it or outpaint it. It's very similar to Photoshop generative AI feature that just came out last week, but this is a little bit quicker, so you don't have to manually edit the photo. You just click the zoom out button. You could zoom out either 2 times, 1.5 times, or you could use the custom zoom where it allows you to zoom out anywhere between 1 and 2. So if you wanted to zoom out like 1.3, you could do that. So now we have our new image. We could take a look at both images side by side. And I'm just going to click on Upscales. So this is our initial image. And then we could go and put the new image side by side. So you can see how this image, it's in the center of all 4 of these images. Pretty cool. So it painted all this stuff on the top, the right, the bottom, and the left to all 4 new images. So now here we can go and pick the next image that we want. So pick whatever one that you like. It's totally up to you. I like the first one because it has this planet. So let me go and click on U1. Now we can repeat the process. So click on zoom out 2 times. While we're waiting, if we go back to MidJourney and then we click on Upscales, now we can go and compare the 2. So we can already see how it's zooming out. Now you can see that this is quite a time-consuming process waiting for one image to finish. So if we want to go and generate, let's say 100 different images, it's going to take all day. So this is why I'm going to generate multiple sets of images at the same time. So I don't have to wait for just one image to finish. We could pick the best one out. I like either the third one or the first one. They're both good. So I'll click Upscale, number 1. and click on zoom out times 2. And we could just keep on repeating the process as many times as we want. So while we're waiting for that to load, let's go back to another one of our images. So we have to find this matrix code one, zoom out times 2, I'll click. And now we have the world within a world, and we have to find our third image that we upscaled, this one. We'll click zoom out times 2. So now we want to make sure that we don't upscale any of these other ones, because if we do, we're going to duplicate them. We also want to make sure that we don't click zoom out a second time. It will let you generate it zoomed out a second time. And what it's going to do is create a second image down below. And that's exactly how I got all these duplicated. So I started off with one image set, but I clicked zoom out times 2 more than one time. And the reason why I did that is because Discord glitched out and I clicked zoom out the first time, but it didn't highlight it blue. So it was gray. So it looked like it didn't actually generate the zoomed out image. So I clicked it again and then it created a second set of images that were zoomed out. And then I was working off of those 2 sets and kept on replicating those images. And then it glitched out a couple more times and I ended up with 5 different image sets. Now I know that you have to make sure that you only click this one time, even if it's gray. So now we can ignore all of the clutter above. We can ignore all of these images. Now we have our 3 sets of images. We're going to make sure that the keywords are different. This begins with futuristic universe world. This begins with world within a world. And this begins with futuristic space matrix. If you're just joining us now, the reason why we want each of these images to have different keywords in the beginning is so we can go and sort them and pick out in our images. We can go and click sort by name, and then first set of images will appear at the top. The second set of images will appear next, and then the third set will appear at the end. That way we can go and create 3 separate folders, and we can go and edit and zoom in 3 videos or 3 different sequences. And then at the end, we can join all 3 sets together. I'm actually going to create a couple different sets before I get started because I can handle a lot more than just 3 sets. Even 3 sets goes pretty slow. I can handle about 5 to 7. So I'm just going to come up with something now. I'll just type in random stuff. Dinosaur, space, flying, superhero, supernova that makes it colorful, base background, stars, planets, whatever I can think of, whatever I want to add, universe, explosion. A lot of these keywords probably don't even matter. I'm just trying to get it to generate something really cool. We could do stylized, say 300. Let's do chaos 50. I won't do style or all this time. Let's see what this gives us. Let's do one more. I'll just do celebrity, running, superhero pose. I don't know. Superhero outfit, colorful. Actually, we want close up because we'll zoom out. Colorful city, nighttime, bright glowing lights, style raw. Let's see what that gives us. And we'll type in this prompt a bunch. So at this point, I'm just really messing with it. Let's do one more. Let's do painting, art, gallery, background. Let's do painting of universe with planets, stars, supernova, colorful. Let's actually use this command, the 2 dot dot symbols, to separate these two. So it'll assign an equal weight to this, and it'll assign an equal weight to this too. Let's see if we can make this into 2 different styles, actually. I never tried this. So let's try to make this style of painting. We don't really need the word of. I don't even know if you need this because we have painting over there. But let's go and change this to, let's make this more realistic, where we can go and type in style raw. We can type in photo of art gallery. Let's add people viewing paintings in art gallery. I'm not going to type in the word in because I feel like it takes away from your more important images. So let's add style raw. Actually, I don't know if I want to type style raw because then I don't want this to be raw. I want this to be photo. I want this to be sort of well, this is a realistic photo. So I want this to be realistic, but this first, I want it to be a painting. So let's go and type this in and see what we get. So far, if we use all of them, we have 6 different sets. That should be plenty. Check out a dinosaur. That's different. That's usable. I like number 1. I'll highlight that in case we come back to it. So clicking on something doesn't remove the highlight. I guess some of the other ones are still generating. Let's just move ahead. I'm going to pick number 1. It's good enough. Upscale. And now let's pick out like a superhero. Yeah, I don't want to use Superman. Kind of want a fake superhero, but I'm not too sure if any of these are actual superheroes or not. That's cool. So he's like running at the camera. I like this one. It's not really a picture frame. I didn't specify picture frame, but oh, here's cool. That's like a really large image. I'm going to change this prompt. Let me get rid of celebrity. I'll just type in person running towards camera, superhero pose, colorful superhero outfit. Type in Tron to make it neon light. Let me see if I type in light streaks, if it does anything. And last thing I'll add depth of field, blurry. Let's see, I'll do different styles this time. I'll add chaos 100, chaos 50, stylize 1000, stylize 0. I like that how there's a whole bunch of different images. I might come back to that. This is a little more 3D. Let's start with this image, especially because the person is in the middle. So I'll go and click on Upscale 2. That's pretty cool. Still have a bunch of images generating, but these are good enough. Let's just go ahead and pick one because the image, it's going to eventually change and these are good. I'll just choose, let's say number 3. No, let's pick number 1. It's nice and centered. Upscale 1. So I think we have all of them generated. I'm going to go back up and then click on the zoom out for the upscaled images. So we did that. Got that one. Okay, so we picked out a dinosaur. So zoom out. So I'm just clicking zoom out so we can get all of the images all the way below. Zoom out. And zoom out again. So I think that's it. Now let me go back up, and for the original 3 that we picked out, I'm just going to click the upscale so we can get all 6 image sets all in a row. Let me just find the ones just to make sure that I'm using the correct ones. I think it was these bottom 3. So I'm going through these now and I'm picking the best one. So I like number 1, click upscale 1. We can also tell that it is the one that we zoomed out by the zoom out parameter at the end. Zoom out is there, so that's the correct one. And they're all pretty good. I'm going to go with number 1. It has the most green matrix code. I really like this one, number 3, but I also like how this transitions to a different scene. Let's go with number 2 because it transitions to space. So now we have each of our 6 image sets below. So now if we go to MidJourney, we could take a look on home at all of our upscaled images and it'll get rid of all the grids. So we can see all of our images back to back. So we have one image set for this, second one for the matrix, third one for this world, fourth superhero one, another one, and a 6th one, the dinosaur flying in space. And these images just loop. So we just finished generating our first 12 images. In the next video, we're going to be generating an additional 526 images using the zoom out method. So to follow along with this tutorial so we can generate all 500 plus images, be sure to check out the next video in this chain. And if you want to see more cool videos like this one, then be sure to click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.
Coder Fairy.
Coder Fairy. Coderfairy.com. Automate it with AI.